Hello.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. Happy to see you.
Hello.
How are you doing after the holidays? How was your first week?
Don't ask. It is difficult to change.
The habits, yes?
Yeah,
the sleeping habits.
You've got in the previous 10 days.
Mhm. Okay, so let's wait a couple of minutes. Maybe someone else is going to come. So I believe that we can start. And so I'm going to show you my presentation. Can you see it? Yes. So today our session is devoted to CLIL lessons in Superminds 1 and 2 course books. I want you to have a look at this slide to remind you what CLIL is. It is content and language integrated learning. So it's an approach for learning content through an additional language. Can be second or foreign one. So it is teaching both the subject and the language. So this combo, we can say. So before we proceed to the tasks from the book, I would like to share some tips how to make your lessons more engaging, more interesting for students, and easier for you. So you need to choose carefully the language which you use to present the content. Yes. Then you need to use the same language repeatedly in order to let your students remember the words. Qualifications. Then you need to stay positive, to maintain an enthusiastic attitude towards the subject you are teaching. You need to praise your students a lot because they need motivation. If you say that they're doing great, it really helps. Also, you need to expand on topic to let students think more and share ideas. Also, don't forget to adjust the material to students' interests and abilities. You know all your students, what they are interested in, what they don't like. So maybe you can change some parts of this material, yes, to adjust it to their needs. Also, use a variety of activities and change them frequently in order not to have bored students in your classroom. And provide students with real life situations, use realia, photos, and so on. So when I teach them these lessons, I usually tell stories about my life. I use some videos, photos, and they really like it. And you need to communicate with other teachers to make suggestions and present ideas that have worked well. So this is actually what we are going to do today. And after your lessons, you need to reflect on your teaching practice and find ways to improve. So these tips work for every lesson, not only CLIL ones. So try to use them. Okay, so now I asked you to write some problems in the document, and I will focus on what you have written to discuss the CLIL sections. And we start with the first topic. It is about colors, about mixing colors in Superminds 1. So the problem is that the terms primary and secondary can be explained only with Russian. Who has such problem? Who thinks that it is very difficult to explain these terms in English? No one has such a problem.
I just didn't explain these words. I consider that they are not that important. They will forget it. And we just play a game. So we mix colors like singing a song and just look at them. And that's it.
Thank you for sharing. Well, I actually agree with you because I never translate these words. And I think that I've never used these words even in Russian. So I haven't got a situation in my life where I had to use them. So what I do is I usually say that primary colors are number 1, and I can use my fingers to show that number 1 finger, and secondary just number 2. Yes, and I explain using these numbers. So we can say that blue, yellow, and red are colors number 1, and number 1 plus number 1 is 2. So 2 is the secondary color. Like we mix blue and yellow, 2 primary colors, we get green. It is the secondary color, and they easily understand this. So my students have no problem with this. And if I repeat primary plus primary is secondary, so they memorize the words and they can even pronounce them themselves. So this is not a problem. So we need to avoid Russian here. So the next topic is one of my favorites. It's fruit and vegetables. And here the problem is that students are amazed by the fact that tomatoes are fruit. And some teachers asked how to present this. That's quite challenging because here we deal with these botanical features and they coincide with our culinary terms that we use when we cook. So we tend to call fruit and vegetables different plants. Yeah, so we don't think about what they are really botanically are. So we can say that fruit refers, the word fruit refers to the edible part of a seed plant that contains one or more seeds. So they can come from many different types of plants, like apples come from trees, grapes grow on vines, blueberries grow on shrubs, and they are all fruit because they have seeds. Let's see what vegetables are. Vegetable means any part of a plant that is grown for food. So here we can eat leaves, like in spinach, yes, the root, carrots, the tuber, potatoes, the flower, broccoli, the stalk, celery, or other parts, including the fruit. And here, the word fruit is used in the meaning of plod in Russian. So it's a bit confusing because they have one word for two notions, I can say. So the fruit can be different. For example, it can be a pod, if we speak about peas or beans, but we also can eat pod, yes, sometimes we cook, we put in salad or maybe in soup, yeah. But what we usually eat, these are seeds of peas. And I have here a picture that illustrates what fruits are and what tubers are. So this is the example of potato plant. And we usually cook tubers. But this plant also has fruit. Did you know this? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So can we eat potato fruits?
No.
Why?
Yes, we can.
No
Aren't they
way.
poisonous?
No way. They are poisonous.
I
They are
guess it's
poisonous.
only one what we eat.
What we eat?
I mean potato plant, but not the other-
Potato plant is the whole plant with leaves and so on.
Oh, sorry, not plant, but potato fruit.
Fruit. We don't
Not
eat
root, not root.
So,
These are
fruit,
tubers.
fruit.
No, we don't eat fruit.
They are
Look
poisonous.
again. Yes, they are
like fruit is
poisonous.
something what is outside.
Now, Kate, can you see the picture?
Yeah.
Yes. So this is the ground, and in the ground there are tubers, these brown things.
Mhm.
We eat tubers.
Ah, okay.
But these green things that look like tomatoes, these are fruit. These are potato fruit.
Okay.
So we can't eat them because they are poisonous.
Yeah,
all
but
right.
how we can explain to children? It's very difficult for me when you.
That's why I tell you this, for you to understand.
Ah,
And now I will share how I present this
okay.
material for students. So when we discuss different fruit and vegetables, we learn them. Yes, we can say what they like, what they don't like. And then I usually ask them to group these food into like two groups, fruit and vegetables. And they put potatoes, carrots, tomatoes in vegetable group. And they put pears, bananas, apples, coconuts in fruits. Yes. And I say that, guys, there is a mistake. You have one vegetable in the fruit group. So they start thinking, where's the vegetable? Well, where is the fruit? Where is the fruit? We eat this in a salad and so on. So where is the fruit? And then I say the tomatoes are actually fruit. They are surprised and say, no, these are vegetables. And then I say, what we see when we cut an apple? So in half, yes, we can see seeds there. You say, yes. Then I say, what we see when we cut, for example, a pear? Seeds. What do we see when we cut a banana? Seeds. What do we see when we cut a tomato? And they understand that tomato has seeds. So tomato is a fruit.
Okay, I have a question.
What about a cucumber?
Yeah,
It's
cucumber.
also a fruit.
Why? No, really?
Yes, yes, it is a fruit. And melon is a fruit. And watermelon is a fruit.
also fruit. Why watermelon
Yes.
we call berry?
No, berry is a small fruit because, well, guys, you need to understand that fruit in English is plod.
Mhm.
So watermelon is a fruit. Yeah, so botanically it can be, well, there is a difference between berry. Yeah, so berry usually small. Yeah, and we can take a berry with our 2 fingers and put in the mouth. Yeah, but strawberry is not a berry. Strawberry is a fruit.
Wow, no.
Lena,
Blueberry is
my
not
life
a berry. What, Kate?
How shall I live my life after it?
This is the question. This is the question which my students ask. So even Superminds 5, when we discuss this topic, they say, "Oh, our lives won't be the same."
Yeah. Ours also.
Yeah. So well, it's interesting actually, and a bit confusing. But now you know that vegetables are leaves and roots, yeah, and flowers and stalks. So everything green that we eat, yeah, and fruit are like plody. So the solution, you need to say that fruits contain seeds, that fruits are not always sweet, yeah, like avocado. It is a fruit, it has 1 seed, and it's not sweet at all. And some fruits are used as vegetables, so we cook them with other vegetables. Here we have tomatoes and peppers. Another surprise, peppers are also fruit, yeah?
You are the best biology teacher I have ever had.
Thank you.
Yeah, and one interesting fact about tomatoes that some people abroad, they don't understand how Russian people drink tomato juice with salt because they eat it with sugar.
Oh, that's horrible. Tomato juice with sugar.
Yeah, and so they don't add them into salads because they eat them
like fruit.
Like fruit, yes, like an apple.
Mm-hmm.
And they can sprinkle it with sugar.
Yes, tastes are different. Absolutely. Okay, so the next topic is about health, some healthy and unhealthy activities. And the problem here is that students might have difficulties with understanding time. We have a notion of hours in this section. And my solution is to revise the days of the week first and write them on the board. Then we can ask students when they come to the studio, answer like on Monday and Wednesday, for example. Then we ask how long is the lesson? And we can write on the board that 1 lesson lasts 60 minutes and explain that 60 minutes is 1 hour. And then we can calculate that if they come 2 times a week, these are 2 lessons a week. And so they come here and study for 2 hours. And you can write, for example, I learn English 2 hours a week. So they understand what hour is. And then we have this exercise in the book, which is rather difficult for Superminds 1 students. It has some questions and some options to choose. So very difficult task. How I suggest doing it. So there are 2 variants. We can do it as a whole class activity using a board, a projector, or we can draw this table on the board, or we can work individually with books. The first variant is easier because you can control everyone. So what we usually do, I invite them to the board and I give them different markers. If there are too many students and you don't have enough color markers, you can give them like blue or black ones and ask them to draw some symbols, not the ticks, but symbols. So, and first you ask, how many hours a week do you do sport? And you answer. So, for example, I do sport 3 or 4 hours a week, and I put a tick. Then I ask another student. He tries to calculate and puts his tick or her tick, yes. So, and we do it one by one. We finish the first line, the first question, and then we proceed to the next one. So it can be rather time consuming, but still they understand, and they have to wait for the others, because everyone wants to draw or put something, some symbol on the board. Yeah, so we do it all together gradually. They understand, they can count the hours. So when we finish, everyone knows the word hour and pronounces it correctly without H. And if your students are rather strong, you can ask them to open the books and just to tick the correct variants for them in their books. But first, I recommend to do the first question together on the board, yeah, to explain them this. Any questions here? Or everything is
Yes, clear.
clear?
Yes, clear.
Clear. Okay.
Len, can I ask just a question, not about the activity, but about the time it takes you at the lesson? So how much time approximately does it take?
Well, if I decide to teach them these CLIL sections, it usually takes one lesson for both pages.
Okay. All right, thank you.
So the next topic is habitats, a very interesting one with animals. And the problem here is that there are too many words. Well, actually, for me, it's not a problem because it's better to have lots of words and pictures than long texts. And here we have 3 sets of pictures: habitats, the animals, and some objects, yes, that can be in these habitats. Well, lots of words, but I believe that our students know some of them. They know tigers. We have this word, I think, in Unit 3. Then they know jellyfish, because we have this word in the grammar book. They know the jungle, because it sounds familiar. And the same as with penguin. Yeah, the coral, they can easily understand this. Trees, they know from, again, the 3rd unit, I believe, with the spider. And sand, they also know. So if we focus on the unknown words, we can say that there are like 10 new words that they really don't know. And shark, they know because they like this song, like Baby Shark. When they see the shark, they start singing. So what can we do with these words? We can find the pictures on the internet, or print pictures from the book, yes, to print, to cut them, use these flashcards to teach new words, and then we can match cards, play different games, discuss this topic. So whatever you like to make students memorize the words. And then, since there are no texts, nothing in our books, I usually ask students to take certain colors to unite the words. So we take, for example, jungle, and I ask, what can we see in the jungle? And they say trees. So we color these rectangles. And then what animals can live in the jungle? They say these are tigers and parrots. So we color them, and we do the following with other habitats. So here they color and they answer the questions. Then they, if they are rather strong, they can discuss in pairs. So like, who lives in the desert, or who lives in the ocean? Something like this. So I really like this coloring, and students also have fun with it. So this is my solution. What about you?
So
Maybe
this
some-
coloring looks rather helpful. I'm going to try it. Thank you.
Yeah, because there aren't any texts or tasks. We have nothing to do.
And it sounds like very entertaining one for them. Thank you very much.
Okay, so then the next, time zones. Your favorite. Lots of problems here. And I think the problems arise because teachers do not understand the topic, yes, how to present it logically, maybe. So 4 problems. The first is geography may be boring. The second, there are mistakes in students' book and workbook. The next, students are not familiar with the concept, so they struggle with getting it. And the last one, students don't know other countries and geographical features. So let's look at the solutions to the first 2. So any topic may be boring for students, especially if it is so for the teacher. So this is what I told you at the beginning. So we need to be enthusiastic about the topics. Yes, if we want our students to understand and to like something, we need to be cheerful, yes, and engage them. And concerning the mistakes, we need to check information in the books before the lesson and inform our students. So if we do this after the lesson, when we check homework, that will cause lots of difficulties. So the mistake here is that in Beijing, the time difference is like +8 hours, and in the book we have +7 hours. So we need to tell this to our students, and they have to correct this. Then what I usually do, I show them a picture with these numbers, or sometimes I draw the numbers here on this map, and I explain that we start counting the time from this 0 meridian. We can tell them that there is the observatory in London, so that's why we start counting from this point. Also, you can say how the sun moves. So it starts moving from the east to the west. And also you can ask students which countries they have been to and whether the time is the same in different cities. Of course, they can mention Turkey, but in Turkey the time is the same, yeah, as in Moscow. But if you live in other parts, like in Tumen, the time will be different, yeah. So if they name the countries or the cities in Russian, so you can translate, but still they share their ideas, that's great. So then we need to look at the tasks themselves. For example, when it is 2 o'clock in the afternoon in London, it is o'clock in the in Beijing. So these tasks we have in our book, and students have to finish them. How can we easily do this? We can draw a clock on the board, yeah, like this, and to ask them what cities we need to look at. And the first city is London. We can circle or color it somehow. And we ask them, what's the time in London? So it's 2 o'clock. We can color this dot, yes, this point. Then we ask them what city we need to identify the timing. So it's Beijing. So they can take another pencil and color Beijing. And you ask, what is the time difference? They can say that it is +8. Okay, so what we do? We start counting. So we draw the lines from number 2, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 2 plus 8 is 10. So it's just like simple mathematics, but they understand when you draw this. So, and we can calculate when it is 2 o'clock in the afternoon in London. It is, what's the time in Beijing? Who can calculate? 10 o'clock in Beijing, yes. So this is the right answer. The same you can do with the minus. So for example, Mexico City, it is -6, or New York City, it is -5. So you tell them that we go in another side. Yes.
Backwards.
Backwards, yes. The time goes backwards there. Okay, so my students usually have no problems with this.
Ellen, I have a question. With book, it's easy to, it's simple mathematics. How you explain them that it is evening in Beijing?
I explain them with the sun. So the sun starts moving from the east. So it's morning there. Then it goes. When it is morning in our place, yes, so in their place, it can be afternoon or evening.
Okay.
So anything else here or no questions? I think it's rather simple. So I've never had problems with this. Okay, so the next then about animal families. Again, too many new words and strange scientific terms for kids. Well, strange scientific term sounds funny. Okay, so here we have some features that identify the groups of animals. Yes, the text may be rather difficult for kids, but you can explain with your own words what animal families exist, and how these animals differ. So you can skip the text, and you just need 5 new words like eggs, hair, feathers, scales, and blood to present this topic. So you can ask like, do fish have hair? They say no. So are they mammals? No. Or maybe, what about eggs? What animals lay eggs? Do people lay eggs? Do snakes lay eggs? And so on. Yeah, so you ask them and you prompt them to make some conversations, yes, about this. So don't read the text if it is too difficult. Explain with your own words. Then towns and art. Here we have a problem that some teachers don't like the choice of the pictures in the book because these pictures seem boring and they all look the same, and that's why teachers tend to skip the pages. Well, what can I say? Find other paintings and pictures to discuss with students. I really like these pictures. I really like the choice of the authors here because for me, the pictures look absolutely different. The styles are different. I'm not a designer, I'm not an artist. So for me, these are fine paintings. And what we usually do, we look at pictures one by one, and I ask students what they see. With the first picture, it's very difficult to be sure what is painted there. Some students believe that this is a tree, and there are some tall houses, and in the center they say that it is a cafe, or sometimes they say that this is a boat. I don't know really what it is, but all these variants I like, so why not? We can use our imagination. So this looks like a flag. Maybe it's a boat. I don't know. Then the second paintings by Van Gogh. So it's really great. We can discuss lots of objects like tables, chairs, cafe, street, night, stars, and so on. So they usually say lots of things about this painting. The third is usually their favorite one, because here we have so many details. They can count people. They find different words there. They try to read these writings on the posters. So they see different children. They look at their clothes and so on. So this they look at the clock. So they see lots and lots of different items to discuss. And the fourth is also interesting because it is quite different from others. Yeah, we have here shades, 3 shades. We have the new word tire that we will have in future in the story. So they see something, they name these objects, and then I ask them to choose one painting that they really like and explain why. And they can say, I like painting number 2 because I like the cafe, I like the sky, the stars, something like this. So it's rather easy, but still it's speaking. And the next set of paintings is also nice. Here we have graffiti, and we discuss where these paintings are, like in the playground, the underground, it's like football field, maybe, yes, and the wall of the house. So they are amazed by the fourth picture because it's a game. Yes, it's a game on the wall, and they like this game. So they say, oh, I would like to live in such a house. Also, they really like some superheroes movies. So they can say something about Marvel or other things about picture number 2. So I like the choice because well, students have something in common and they have something to say here. But if you don't like these pictures, you are free to download other ones and discuss, maybe to create some additional tasks. Why not? You can be creative. Okay, shall we move on?
Thank you.
So the next is about bacteria and food. Here we have 2 problems that the topic might be difficult for this age group, and there are many unknown words for students. So how to present this topic? Well, the solution is to explain that bacteria are not animals. This is the main point. And then you can have fun with their names. Students really like the names, especially E. coli, that turns into Nikolai at the lessons. So they really laugh at their names. And we usually read this text and there is no problem. They understand it. And then we can use the pictures in exercise 2. And we can show some gestures to explain how to avoid bacteria. Yeah, so I don't think that here we have a lot of difficult words. No, they are rather easy. Plus, if you use gestures and you have pictures, the students easily understand what is going on, and they can match the sentences with the pictures. So how can we show that we need to clean something? Yeah, we use this gesture, or how to wash fruit, something like that. Yeah. So I think it's rather easy. Use gestures, show pictures, and have fun. Here in the book, they suggest us to grow some bacteria, but my students usually do not want to grow them because they can see these bacteria, for example, in bread or in vegetables in their houses. And they say, oh, no, we don't want to grow this. But if you have time and your students are eager to do this, why not? You can explain how to do this. Okay. So the next is recycling. A rather difficult topic. And here the problem is that there are difficult terms and we always need extra flashcards. Well, personally, I've never printed anything for this. I use my cave paintings, and I'll show you. So here we can use photos from the book, or maybe really like a bin, a plastic cup, a piece of paper, yes, or we can draw the procedure on the board. So how the rubbish travels, yes. So we can ask students, for example, if you eat a banana, where do you put a banana peel? They say in the bin. Okay, then what happens to this rubbish? What happens to this banana peel? Where does it go? So they say, na pomойку. Okay, so let's develop this, how this works. So I hope you will like my cave paintings. So we start with the banana and the banana peel that comes into the bin. And I explain that this, what you have in the bin, is rubbish. Then I draw another picture. So this is the ground. We can color it brown if you want. Yeah, they understand what it is. Here we have some trees. They understand the scale. Yes. Then I explain that we dig a big hole in the ground. Yeah, so we can see the size. This is the tree. This is the hole. And then I say that we put all rubbish from all bins in our flats into this hole. And when it is full, we can call it a landfill. Yes. So they understand it very easily. What do you think about this? Is it easy?
Yeah, I think with the process of kind of recycling, maybe even something like this, yeah, natural one, it becomes easier. Do they also draw this picture?
No, we usually read this text and I draw this. Just to explain the words like landfill, rubbish, hole.
Yeah, what's this?
Yeah, because here we haven't got any pictures. Well, this one is rather strange.
Yeah.
You never translate the text, right?
What again?
You translate the texts.
We can translate, but I think it's quite obvious here what rubbish is, what bin is. So if they say that rubbish is мусор, it's okay. Yeah.
Generally, excuse me, but generally I suppose that we should leave the work of translation to translators. Our job is not to translate, actually.
Well, we don't translate, but if students say something in Russian, that's okay. We can check the understanding like this.
Yeah, generally. Definitely agree.
So the next is recycling. The word recycling we can explain with the circle. Yes, so we recycle things. We take old like newspapers, books, and so on, and we turn this old material into the new things. Yes, they usually understand this because they collect old papers, notebooks, and other stuff for recycling. They carry these to schools. They easily understand this. And then we can discuss how to recycle other materials like metal, glass, plastic, and so on. So no problem here usually. Anything else to add maybe?
Yes, I would like to add in this theme recycled, I use world ball game. It was like, for example, I show some glass, for example, and they need to match how they can recycle it. or cardboard.
They
Or-
match with what? With other pictures?
No, for example, yeah, it was like picture of something old, for example, old paper, and a lot of picture of some new things. They can recycle old paper, and they choose, and sometimes they were shocked. Oh, we can recycle this. Oh, great! Yeah, they like.
Okay, so that's not so difficult as it may seem. You need to just use your fantasy here to present this material. Okay, the next topic is measuring. The problem is not all students are good at mathematics, and this material is not easy for them. It takes a whole lesson or even two. Okay, so let's look how to cope with this problem. So the small objects we can measure with a ruler. So you need to explain student that 1 centimeter is like 10 millimeters, yes. And you can give them rulers to measure smaller objects like paper clips, maybe markers, maybe some pieces of paper. So it's really good to give them the same objects to understand that they get the idea. So if they all have like 3 centimeters, they understand how to measure. Yeah, but if you give them different objects, you need to watch everyone, to monitor everyone. So when you are sure that they understand, you can ask them to measure other objects. They can stand up and walk around the classroom and measure whatever they like, the small objects, I mean. When it comes to bigger objects, we need to explain that 1 meter is 100 centimeters, and here we can use a tape measure. So you can bring 1 or 2, yes, from your house, and you can go and measure longer and bigger things in the classroom. Here they can measure telephones, course books, tables, desks, flower pots, whatever, maybe the board, anything they like. So they can work in groups, in pairs, so everything. So I think it's quite easy. So you just need to make sure that they understand and then have fun again.
But again, you don't use books.
Why do you need books for this?
So this is always my question about these CLIL lessons. We don't need books, but we are lack of time to create such new materials.
Well, you don't need new materials. You need to teach students. They need to speak. They need to understand the topic. So if you give them the rulers or tape measures and ask them to walk around the classroom and measure certain things and then tell you how long they are.
Yes,
why do you need a course book?
Yes, this was my main question. When you ask about these very pages, my true answers were about the pages. But okay, this is a good way to present these materials. Why not? It's like thinking out of the box. Yes, I agree, but why do we need these pages?
Okay, in the book we have a task like to measure pencils, just to write the answers there. So we can spend 1 minute on this. So in the book we don't have enough tasks.
Yeah.
But here we can invent more. Okay, so the next topic is breathing. And here the problems are the following. The material used for balloons may be toxic, and putting balloons in the mouth is unhygienic. And the second is exercise too may be dangerous for students' lives. So what I suggest, so we can find the balloons that are made of latex, and it is organic material, so they're not toxic. We can buy them and distribute. Yeah, so each student has 1 balloon, his or her own, and use it. So it's absolutely safe, I believe, here. And concerning the second exercise, here you need to put students in pairs, and they carry out this experiment. So they need to take a balloon, take a deep breath, then blow all the air into the balloon, and the partner ties a string around the mouth of the balloon, yes, to not let the air out. And then they measure around the balloon and write the results. So this may be dangerous, but if you do it like pair with one pair, so you can ask two students come to the board and do this, and you watch them. They finish, they sit down, you ask another pair to come to do this. So you can watch each pair and nothing bad happens, I believe. Well, you need to monitor them here. This is the solution. Don't let them do this experiment on their own. So they always work together and you monitor them. So maybe it is time consuming, yeah, but if you're worried, why not? So I believe that this is it. No, another one, fairy tales. Yeah, this is a nice topic. So here we have two problems, boring fairy tales and a lot of new difficult words. Of course, with boring fairy tales, you can find other fairy tales to discuss, and the text is difficult. Okay, so it's not really difficult. It has some words that we need to explain. So these names of the tales may be confusing. Yeah. So we usually read the text together, like sentence by sentence, and discuss each sentence. Then I give them some hints. For example, what Rumpelstiltskin is. Yeah, I try to find a video where they can find this character, and I usually use Shrek series. There was this gnome, we can say, yeah, with red hair. They usually know this video, so they understand who is Rumpelstiltskin. And I do the same with other characters. So this is this gnome, evil one. Then Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, Rapunzel, they know them. Cinderella, we can show this picture, they understand easily. Hansel and Gretel, they may not know, so you need to tell them maybe this fairy tale about a brother and sister who went into the forest and found the gingerbread house, and there was a witch inside and she wanted to eat them. So also they can see Hansel and Gretel and Shrek, I believe, when they had a party and these two were coming to eat. So maybe they will memorize this. And the Little Mermaid. Yeah, everyone knows Ariel. So they easily understand this fairy tale. So this is it. And now I want you to work together in pairs and in groups and to make some lesson plans, maybe, yes, to share your ideas how to present these CLIL lessons to your students. So I'm going to share the document with you. Looks like this. Yes, so we have 2 pages from the book. There are 8 in total. So, and here you can see the group number. So I hope that we have enough people to divide into 8 groups. And you will try to think how to present this material to your students. So I will give you like 15 minutes, maybe, yes, 10-15 minutes. You talk together you find some interesting things, how to teach your students, and then each group presents the way, okay? So find the link in the chat, please. So the number of your breakout room is the number of your slide, your group, okay? So let's divide and work. Susanna, Diana, Victoria, Ramziya, you need to go. Kate. Ramziya and Diana, are you here? Diana, are you here? No? So welcome back. Now let's listen to your ideas. What have you created? So group 1, please present your lesson, and you can demonstrate the screen. I think it's easier this way if a group demonstrates. So who was in group 1? So Kate Gerasimova, Olga, and Ekaterina Balnay. So you're welcome.
Oh, okay.
All right. So actually, we didn't write anything. Yeah, we just discussed. Yeah. So our set of pages was from the book SM1. Yeah, and we were working on this task. Yes, so if you can just help me in case I forget something.
Okay.
So as for the first activity, yeah, so we suggest as a very first activity, I would suggest to remember to brainstorm students what activities they remember from the unit. Maybe they remember any other activities. Yeah, and later we present them the word healthy. Yeah, so for example, we can do it by miming, like being healthy is being, and we ask students, is being healthy about being strong or weak? When you are healthy, do you feel good or bad? Yeah. So while looking at the pictures, I suppose they will, we suppose they will answer correctly. Yeah. When you feel good and strong. Yeah. And after we can, we can ask students to read the text exercise number 1, yeah, and brainstorm together with them the examples. Yeah, when you have fun, what do you do? Play games, play ball, play computer games, as always. Yeah, so eat healthy food. What kind of healthy food? Yeah. And so provide some examples for them so they could grasp the idea of having a healthy lifestyle. After, so we need to stir our students a bit. So here we can play such games like step right, step left. Yeah. So for example, when you step right, yeah, this activity is healthy. Yeah. When you step left, yeah, this activity is unhealthy. Yeah. So and then teachers provide students with some examples like watching TV at night, sleeping 5 hours. Yeah. So students have a chance. Move left and yeah, strong students can provide their ideas. Yes, so they can say it. So, and also at this stage, we suggest that students can, not students, but teacher can introduce some extra activities, not only from exercise number 2. Yeah, because later, yeah, students can use them. But we'll tell about it. Yeah, like chat with friends, read books. Read books we have like so some other activities like play football, play basketball.
Eating fast food.
Yeah, eat fast food. Yeah, for example.
Or eating vegetables or fruit a lot.
Yeah, maybe. Well, it can be complicated, yeah, for someone, yeah, but it depends on the group, yeah, of course, but maybe spend time with your friends and family. So then we can go to exercise number 1, and here we provide the class survey. Yeah, so the way Elena suggested, yeah, so at first teacher demonstrated with his example, for example, yeah, putting ticks, yeah, and later also we have, so Len, I'm not sure, maybe you mentioned this one, yeah, so when students have their own color, yeah, so we put it on the board. Yeah, so for example, Vova green, Misha blue, and so on. Yeah, and then they tick in their fields. So this activity might be. So here actually we have some concerns, but later we will. I suppose we will share them. So students complete this activity, and after we suggest that students do not create a bar chart, yeah, but they just report about the statistics, and so others can listen and put pluses if they have got the same information in their table. So make others to listen as well. And if we have time, so we can personalize it a bit. We can Ekaterina.
We can play mime if we have some time at the end, or we can sum up all this lesson. For example, what the most popular activity among our students, or which activity is their favorite, like playing games. I think it would be on the first place, but still. And which activity is the most boring, for example, or we can play mime in the end, for example, mime an activity, and then a student guess, for example, playing computer games, and the teacher asks, is it healthy or unhealthy? So, and their answer.
Yeah, and also, yeah, we also had an idea, yeah, so yeah, for personalization, that we can ask students like, what health activities do you do? Yeah, and what unhealthy activities do you do? Yeah, I think that's it. Well, and as for our concerns,
The end.
the end, yeah.
Yeah.
So as far as I understood, you don't do this survey together. Yes, they work in books. You don't do it on the board.
Well, and here is the question. Maybe then it's my fault. I misunderstood. So, as far as I understood, it was as a sort of mingling activity. So when students have got their own pencil, for example, I am yellow, Ekaterina is orange, Len, you are purple. Yeah, and then I come to you, I take, Len, to you, I mean, I take purple pencil and I tick your pencils in your answers in my book with purple. Then I give you back your purple pencil. I go to Ekaterina, take your orange pencil and tick Ekaterina's answers with orange.
Yeah, I understand now, but it can be a bit confusing for students, I believe. So this exchanging, constant exchanging.
Yeah,
or we can divide them into pairs.
Yeah, in pairs is better.
Yeah, and there was a concern actually that it can be complicated.
Well, we usually do it on the board, as I told you, yes, and they just tick their variants with their own colors. Like you, for example, have orange, I have blue, Ekaterina has red, and so on. So we have different color ticks in each box.
Oh, this is the perfect option, I think, for this task.
Okay, thank you, girls. It is rather interesting. I hope that you will have less problems now with these 2 pages.
And more time to complete them.
Yeah. Okay, now let's listen to the second group. It's Kate, Juliana, again, Kate, 2 Kates, and Konstantin. Yes?
Yeah.
Welcome. So share the screen, please.
Okay, and should Katya stop your demonstration?
Yeah, Kate, stop, please.
Well.
Oh, one of the favorite topics.
Well, Kate shared a lot of tips which she uses to teach this topic. And we came up with the lesson, which can start with a type of story, just to make our students more engaged. The pictures which are in exercise 1 can be copied and in a bigger size and put onto the walls. To begin with, we can have a fast excursion around the classroom to focus students on the pictures, and then we can ask them to listen to your words and go to the picture they think is about this word. I mean the words about weather, hot and cold. So they will have fun to run around the classroom, and they will identify what type of places they can see and what should they focus on. That some places are hot, some places are cold. After that, they can sit at the desks and open the book to see the pictures in the book, and the words can be introduced. Kate, will you help me to introduce the next stage?
Actually, we came up with quite a lot of ideas. So do you mean the coloring stage or the second one? Or the second exercise?
The second one.
The second exercise. So then we decided to use the coloring method that Elena suggested us, right? And we decided that we may do it in both ways, starting with first or with the second exercise, which doesn't really matter. So we just color, make the frames out of colors, and match the things or like places, like Kate said, with the habitats, right?
Yeah,
that's the second stage, and then we shall pass to the animals, right?
Yeah, and as I remember, here we wanted to give them one more piece of fun, because the young learners, they have to have fun from time to time, and they love animals, and most of them know many names of different animals. So we can play here slow reveal with the words introduced, or just what's missing game, and so on. They can play these games firstly in class, then in groups if you have so much time, but I believe you don't. You can also include some more, you can ask students to come up with other animals. And after that, there should be one more coloring activity when students in pairs or in mini groups have to color together the animals in the with the colors that they used for habitats and places. Kate, am I right, or did I miss anything?
Oh, no, seems like you didn't, but I also mentioned that I usually give here a home or house and the word pet, so that they may distinguish between the two words animal and pet, because sometimes they don't really distinguish between them. And
yeah,
also
I really like this idea.
Yeah.
So wild animal and pet.
Not just animals and yes, and pets, because sometimes they don't really understand who is animal, who is pet, and why there are two words that we call animals.
So thank you, girls. And I have one more question. You said that we need to print these pictures from exercise 1, and then you play a game with cold and hot places, yes?
Yeah, it can be.
Like polar region, ocean, mountains, desert, and jungle, these words, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and what about mountains? Are they cold or hot places?
So usually there, it's a bit cold. In contrast with desert, I guess it will be colder.
Oh, okay. What
Yes,
about ocean?
But I believe that these very details, they should not matter on that very stage, because it's kind of a story that we use in order to engage students. So I believe we should not pay attention to these very details.
Well, I believe that this picture, the word mountain, looks really hot.
Maybe we have to substitute this picture into.
Yeah, maybe if we choose other pictures, which are more obvious.
Yeah, Elbrus.
Or ocean with a beach.
With a beach, yes, something like this. So we need to find other pictures, but the activity is great. Okay.
And about project, we thought that it's rather time consuming, but it can be substituted with drawing, which is much faster. And to make it more interesting, we can put the habitats into the Wheel of Fortune. So students spin and they are given the habitat, which they have to draw and come up with an animal which lives there.
Yeah, you may also print out the animals in advance and just give the students the opportunity to cut them out and glue to the habitats that they draw.
Okay, very nice idea. And this fortune wheel.
And
so the element of surprise.
Konstantin had a very wise idea about jungle. He suggested to add a picture of a forest, for example, to differentiate that jungle is not the same as forest, and forests are more often seen in Russia. So students will be aware of it too.
Yeah. Also, we can add one more habitat here.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for ideas. Let's listen to group 3. It's Natalia, Victoria, and Yulia. Where are you?
We have to demonstrate?
Yes, demonstrate and tell, please.
Sorry. I'm waiting for you to demonstrate. Well, yeah, we worked with time zones. Not very interesting topic, as you said, yeah. But anyway, we have plenty of work to do here. Well, as we are working with quite young learners, I suggested to switch between languages sometimes, but it's only my idea because, well, actually, I don't work with young learners. Yeah, I work with teenagers mostly. But anyway, in a group, we suggested quite a nice plan, I think, for the lesson. Well, of course, we should start with warm up, as we usually do. And here, as we are working with time and different countries and different cities, I suggested to show the pictures of different familiar places, familiar for our young learners, like Moscow, London, maybe New York, the Statue of Liberty, maybe Egypt. Yeah, so the countries that they know very well. And they should guess the meaning. Not the meaning, they should guess the country or the city, just to energize our students here at the beginning of our lesson and make them more active. Also, I think that as a warm-up, we should revise the time. As they are quite young to know the time properly, I think it's like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, something like exact time. Yeah, so we can show the clock or the poster and revise time again at the beginning of the lesson as a warm-up. And after that, we move on to the first exercise and look at the picture, and again elicit some ideas from the students what they can see in this picture. And they can say that it's a map, or it's a world, or our planet. I don't know what words they know. Yeah. And then after that, we can work with the words that they can see there, the names of the cities. Maybe they repeat after the teacher, or they say them independently. We make correct mistakes in pronunciation, or just I think it will be more time consuming if we so we can save the time if we say the words and the students repeat the names properly. And after that, we can work with the clocks here, with the difference in time. And as this exercise suggests, yeah, listen, read, and then work with the difference in time between these two continents, cities. And Elena, we liked your idea about the poster and the difference where we write the numbers, yeah, so that our students understand this topic better, because sometimes they even teenagers don't understand the time. So they don't know how to say the time properly. It's true, yeah, you know. And also we there was a good question from the girls from my group, from our group, if it's enough time, if there is enough time to do the project here right on the lesson. And we suggested that we can prepare the material beforehand, before the lesson, like take color paper and cut a circle, like clock face, yeah, prepare clock hands, and we can divide our students into groups, and like if there are 10 students, we can divide them into 3 groups or in pairs, yeah, and they can do the project together. And after that, it takes about 10 minutes, I think, 7 or 10 minutes. And after that, we can play with these clocks. For example, put them on the board, write the names of the cities like Moscow, as we usually see in different hotels, yeah, at the reception desk. Moscow, London, I don't know, maybe New York, and we suggested not Beijing, but China, because China is more familiar. Everyone knows the word China, but Beijing is quite strange for the children. You know, Peking and Beijing, different things. Well, and we can play with this clock. We can ask the students to come to the board, move this clock hands. Yeah, they can set the time, and all together we can play and work until the end of the lesson. And as the homework, for the homework, we can give them exercise 2, or either we can do it on the lesson together, because as I understand, they have another homework, well, other homework at home in the activity books, yeah, or they can also do this at home. Well, this is it.
Thank you for your ideas, and that's really great that you mentioned that you can provide students with the materials. Yes, you can print the clock face. Yeah, they just need to cut these
to cut
things.
and maybe to write the numbers.
Yes, yes.
They should do something.
Yeah, because if we just give them some paper and ask them to draw everything, we will waste so much time.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, thank you very much. So let's listen to the next group. For Elena Lopshina, Natalia Nguliram.
So shall I?
Yes.
Okay. So, all right. As we are going to speak about these very pages, we have the next lesson plan. So as a warm-up, you might suggest your students to not to open the books, yes, before opening them, to show them pictures from the internet and show them like very familiar that they can find in their very cities or towns. Like there might be some pictures like with famous people, yes, or popular ones. Or also there might be some pictures with texts, like the most popular things are like this, no? Of course, I think all students for sure see such crazy, weird letters. So, and they were eliciting this word graffiti from them. And then we put students in pairs or mini groups to discuss where they can find this graffiti, yes, in their towns. Or maybe you do it like an open class and you do a brainstorming, maybe you write some concepts on the board. Also then students might be eager to share their ideas and say what they like. So if you catch this thing, so you can do this exercise 3 just after. Sorry. I'm very fast to. Sorry, I just misled. Yeah. So when we elicit this, so sorry, it's not about page 40.
Yeah, it's about page 43.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The first activity, speaking about these 4 pictures, was the same like Lena said, like look at the pictures and say what they see, like a little description, eliciting some details, colors, etc. And then students might share what they like. Yes, and this time you can really have fun, yes, with them, because they may be eager to share that they like picture number 3 because they like trains, or maybe they like stars in picture 2. And after that, you move on to exercise 2. Look, we decided to read these statements in the bubbles, in the speech bubbles, before listening, just to elicit some difficult or unfamiliar things. And then we listen and number the pictures. Also, we have like a note. If you think your group is quite weak, you might start your lesson with some warm-up activity and revising, reading the words of colors, and maybe you even combine it with there is and there are. Like, for example, you might do it on word wall, like match the colors with the words. Maybe you do it with your real flashcards and word cards. Or another thing, I just created it while listening to other groups. You might show some pictures and elicit from students these grammar structures and different colors, like what colors are there in the picture? Yes, there are yellow, red, and blue. Okay, 3 colors. What about this picture? There is yellow, because all the objects are yellow. Maybe you will find some interesting pictures when all objects are blue or yellow in the picture. So I think it will be funny. And then we can move on to this page 43 and demonstrate these examples from the internet. Yes, maybe it's a good idea just to ask students move a little bit if you have table and TV in different places, or just unfocus their attention, yes, and to look at the screen. So now you're eliciting this graffiti term, and students share their ideas, yes, where they can see them. Do they like maybe this graffiti thing or not? And maybe they do graffiti at home on their walls, why not? Then you ask to look at these 4 very pictures, and again, elicit the places the graffiti is found here. So like you decide also, is it in an open class or pair activity, but still it should be very fast, yes. Then we decided to do exercise to like quite control speaking activity when you write a prompt on the board and students share their say the correct full sentences, yes, using there is, there are, and speaking about these pictures. Maybe you substitute these 4 pictures with your own ones, so maybe you add some extra. It's up to you. But as for exercise 3, we decided that this is a really time-consuming thing, and you can ask students to do it at home, like optional thing. But what we decided to do is to play a game, Snakes and Ladders, in the end of the lesson, because it refers to this picture number 4. And it's also will give you an opportunity to maybe recycle some vocabulary from the current unit, or just to have fun with colors or some other things with students. And there is also a good game online for online students in Bamboozle. On Bamboozle site, Snakes Ladders are very funny there. So this is all about these pages.
Thank you very much. So I want to add some things. So you said you can play the game snakes and ladders. Here you can use this construction. There are, and you can show another picture and describe it one by one. So they throw a die and they say something and they go. So you can describe the picture and play the game. And also one more idea. So in exercise 2, they listen, read, and number. I think we can skip listening. So just read a number because the sentences are quite easy. So why to waste time? So just read and write numbers. Okay, thank you. So the next group is number 5, Anna Labanova and Yulia Yerohina.
I'm here.
Show the screen, please.
So maybe I will start. So our topic is about bacteria and food, quite a challenging topic, I think, for both teachers and pupils, because students of the age, they don't study biology at school, and we are, as teachers, we are quite old to remember all the information from school about it. But still, what can we do? We decided to start our lesson with a demonstration of the video of bacteria from the microscope to show the children that we demonstrate the video and ask the children to guess what can they see. For example, I can demonstrate, for example, this video. So what can you see? Yeah. And on the board, we write some variants. They should be easy, such as animals, flowers, insects, and bacteria, for example. So the words should be easy, and the right answer, the right variant, should be obvious for children to guess. So they say it is bacteria. So using this video, we can explain and demonstrate that bacteria, they are alive, they exist, although we can't see them, we can't hear them and touch them. They exist, they move, they can grow and increase during their life period. They can be positive, negative, and even though they have their own names like people, yeah. Then they open their books and we present the pictures and read their names of bacteria. And do this exercise, yeah? Listen, read, and number the photos. Then we would like to add some elements of gamification in our lesson, so we can play we can play a game to invite a student to the board. The student can draw a bacteria, and all the other students have to guess the name of the bacteria he's drawing. Then they will change. Then we speak about the effects of different kinds of bacteria. We explain that they can have positive or negative effects, and tell the students how to avoid some negative effects when we cook something. Then we do exercise number 2. Listen, read, and draw lines. So as Elena has already said, we can demonstrate some verbs with our gestures. After this exercise, we can use a worksheet from our teacher resource book. The task is, at the end, the task is to make a fruit salad. So there are some rules how to deal with food items to avoid some harmful negative effects of for our health. Yeah. They work first of all individual, then they can work in pairs or in groups, and finally, the final task is to make their own salad. Then we come back to our book again. And maybe, Julia, can you explain your brilliant idea with the project?
They can draw their own bacteria, give them names, and then in pairs or in mini groups or in class, it depends on number of students, present their project, tell us about its good or bad bacteria, name, and where it lives. And also after that, we can show them a video about bacteria, but and can I show it?
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
So I really like these videos, and this Dr. Binacles tells us about some science with fun, and he used really easy language for kids, and kids really like it. So I think we can use it at the end of our lesson.
So you can start with a video, yes, just to present this idea, and you finish also with a funny video. I have a question about this worksheet from Teacher's Resource Book. Are you going to cook a real salad? Or
No,
just no?
Oh, we can ask them to make it at home, for example, and show us photos.
The photos.
Yeah, for example, but make fruit salads on the lesson, it's complicated, I think.
Yeah, so you need like a half an hour for this.
It's not only complicated, it's a bit dangerous, because we don't know anything about allergies. Of course, we can ask about it. We can ask parents about it, but it's not a good idea to use fruit or especially dairy products on the lessons and in camps.
Well, actually, we use and we ask our students whether they are allergic to some products or not, and we cooked salads, we cooked some desserts.
Yes, I also cooked
sandwiches.
And the children are delighted. They are really excited to do it, but you must be very careful with that.
Yes, but still, if you have time and you have this opportunity, that's great.
You can avoid this allergy issue if you ask students to bring 1 or 2 fruit with them. So the parents will give them those ones which they can eat.
Yes, we can ask this.
Or they can bring, they can bring with them. Yeah, it's a good idea.
Thank you, Kate. So thank you for sharing. So let's listen to the next group. This group 6, Tamara and Elena.
I had one more person.
This person has left, unfortunately.
Okay. Elena, will you help me? Okay.
Yes.
Some stages. We agreed to start with the presentation of what rubbish is, and it would be a good idea to bring some realia into the classroom and to show students some crumbed paper or some empty bottles, or you can show them the classroom bin and maybe to look inside and find something there. But you know,
actually, CLIL lessons should be just you should be able to touch, to experience things.
Don't forget about bacteria.
Yeah.
Okay. Of course, yeah, but usually there is paper in the bin or some maybe apple core, how they call it, I'm sorry.
Course, apple course.
Banana 100%.
Yeah. So, but okay, if you're afraid of bacteria, you can bring some pictures that are printed beforehand. So, and yes, to present what rubbish is, and maybe you can ask what things do they throw away, and then we can skip the text in the in exercise 1, but we need to show, yes, this procedure, how rubbish goes, yes, and you can, for example, show them the video. I found it, but there are some difficult words, and you can put the volume down and to explain them. And there are the same words that we have in the book. So there are pitfalls, there are bins, and so the first part of the video, yes, it's about this procedure, how rubbish goes. Or you can also print the pictures from the text, like rubbish, holes, yes, landfills, and ask students to order the cards. So like what comes first, yes, and how this procedure ends. So they can do it by themselves to, yes, to order this procedure. And so what should be, and then, yes, we came to the recycling. Yes, and we should explain what recycling is. And again, we can show them the pictures of old things and new things. Yes, and to, like Elena, you showed in your presentation. Yes, and we can, and we also present the new words from exercise 2, like metal, yes, glass, fruit and vegetables, they know, yes, and paper, and Elena, what we agreed.
Okay, I can just make all these things shorter. So yeah, I can help. So you bring the rubbish, one of the variants was just, and also you can ask students in advance to look at home, to find out at home old newspapers or magazines and bring them in advance. It's for exercise 2, and you will have rubbish. So bottles, maybe plastic bottles, glass bottles you can bring yourself, some metal things, and fruit, vegetables we can easily find. So you put all this stuff in the rubbish bin and present at the lesson. Show children this rubbish and make cards in advance with the words of this rubbish. Then you put some stuff on the table to keep it safe and throw this rubbish on the table. And children should use the cards to give the names, to label the rubbish. And also you can divide children in the teams. If you can't do it, yeah, you can use the cards with pictures. Then you introduce the video, yeah, as Tamara said, and or you can skip it. It's understandable that we throw rubbish into the bins. Then, as for recycling, to introduce the recycling, you ask the children to separate this rubbish into 4 bins, like paper, magazines, what else? Bottles, metal, and fruit. And then you ask them what they can have from this. And in advance, you prepare the cards with paper, with new glass, with new metal objects, and something for the to use in the garden. And they think what they can make from this old from all these things, or these old things, yeah, from this rubbish. Then when they do it, we can listen to the exercise 2 and see if they were right or wrong without opening the books, for example. As for page, the next page, like you can see there are 4 bins. Also, you can make it yourself. Just bring 4 boxes, give the with names,
give the children, and they need them to put the rubbish in the correct bin. Or you can use the stickers or pictures and stick them to these pictures you can see. But in advance, you need to show it on the board, yeah, using projector and so on, for example. Next, you can make it long life project, like, you know, to teach children to recycle. You can put these boxes in your classroom or in your office and ask children to throw rubbish during the month correctly, which they bring with them, or other students of your office can also take part in this project. Like, and maybe some prize in the end. The best rubbish collector, I don't know, or maybe they can record the video how they throw rubbish in different plastic bags at home, because, for example, here we don't have separate rubbish collecting, no these recycling bins and so on. So
maybe at least you have special places where you can put batteries, old batteries, in some shops.
Probably, yeah. The only thing I saw here is big bin for plastic.
Well, yeah, we need to teach students that we need to separate this rubbish. At least batteries, they can collect them and put together and then find a place which accepts them, because batteries are really poisonous, very bad, harmful for the nature. Okay, thanks. A lot of realia in your lesson. That's nice. And we have group 7, Anna Sikorina and Oksana Melnikova. So let's listen to them.
Okay, hi everybody. We have a CLIL lesson about measuring. So, Oksana, shall I start?
Yes.
Okay. Well, first of all, I think it will be a good idea to ask students to bring rulers and measure tapes to the class, because usually they haven't got them. So that's why it's a good idea to ask them to do so. And because in that lesson, they would be asked to measure a lot of things. And it's good to start a lesson with showing some real objects. That could be some easy, plain objects from the classroom, like the desk or the door. And it's important to present the meanings of height and length. And I think for this, the teacher will use a measure tape and will measure the desk and present the meaning of the words height and length, and say this height and length in meters or centimeters. I think this will be easy terms for students, because they are similar to the Russian ones. They will understand them. And so here in exercise 1, we have like 2 arrows, 2 lines, and in this one we need to clarify with the students what the lines are. The height is B and length is A. So then we can practice showing this on a desk or on a board, on a door, just to present it how it works in real life. And then in exercise 2, we have millimeters too. So it depends on the group whether. But I think this text is, well, not so difficult. So we can read, students can read this, and from this text they can find out that centimeters and millimeters work for small objects, and then we have here pencils. So I guess they could students can take out their rulers and measure the pencils here, put them down, the numbers, and then they could take their real pencils just to practice again in real life and write the length of their pencils in no, they won't write, they will say. And maybe that would be a good idea here to measure some more objects like rubbers, some small objects. And Oksana,
and
can
sorry,
you proceed? Yeah, thank you.
And can I add, before lesson, I think it would be a good idea to ask about math lesson on their school and ask what do they do usually at their lesson, and they can say maybe their count or maybe measuring, maybe they know some words. And in exercise 2, we can measure pencil A. They can measure it by their ruler, and we can ask what the length, and they can say 5 centimeters for checking understanding this part. So they can see that 5 centimeters is has written now in students' book, so they understand that it's a measure. Like maybe it's like an idea for checking. I can.
So then we're going to move to measuring some bigger objects. Well, not exactly objects, but students. So we would pay attention to that bigger objects we measure with we measure in meters, and here we have just a small text. We use meters and centimeters, so no millimeters more. And we have here some children, I mean, in the picture. So the students will write down their heights, and then
and we can ask their height. Do you know your height?
Of course.
Give an example of our height, and maybe they understand this.
Yeah, so of course we have to practice that again in real life. The students will have to measure them, not themselves, they have to work in pairs, and they have to measure each other. And then in number 3, we have a small project, which I think is great. They have to put down, or we have to prepare a table or a chart beforehand for them. So they will put this in their notebooks. So they have 3 sections here, what they would like to measure, their guesses, and their real measurements. So they, in this task, they will have to practice their predicting skills. So and we in this we will also find out how good they are in
guessing.
Guessing. Okay. So this activity will make them move around, and so kind of a mingling activity. And I guess we'll stop the lesson at this point.
Or we can draw this table on the board and share our group in mini group, and they can choose one object, come to the board, write their object, for example, door, and they come to measure it. Write the guess and measure, and they come to the board again and write the real.
Yeah, if there is time, that's a good idea.
Okay, so this lesson can be a really one where they have to move a lot. Yes, to run and measure something, some objects. Okay, thank you, girls. Well, people from the 8th and the last group have left, unfortunately. So I would ask everyone to spend 5 more minutes and to look at CLIL with breathing. So let's together brainstorm some ideas. How can we present this? So how can we start?
I'm sorry, I'm from group 8.
Oh, you are here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm here.
okay, then tell. So, well, I don't see that someone is here from this group. Yeah, okay, then we will listen to you.
Okay, I can share my screen, but I'm using my telephone, and that is why maybe
I can
it will be a
share
problem.
if you want.
No, it's okay. We only discussed
Okay.
the first part of this. Before the lesson, we can prepare balloons, we can prepare strings and measure tapes. The first step is to introduce the topic. We can elicit the words breathing in and breathing out by using realia. We can show them how to breathe in and how to breathe out, and ask them to repeat the sections, and then to open the book and to look at the photo of this boy and to name these pictures. Picture number 1, this is breathing in, and picture number 2, this is breathing out. And then we can read this text in exercise 1 with strong groups, and with weaker groups, we will not read this text. Yeah. Okay, then we will pre-teach the adjective tall. The adjective tall, so that to measure their height. So we use measure tapes to measure their height, and then to write the result on the board, maybe on the worksheet. We can prepare worksheets also, and to write the results here in the worksheet, and maybe on the board. It's also okay. So then we start working in pairs. We can use fortune wheel. It is a good idea to divide into pairs. Then to demonstrate balloons for them. And we can review the colors also, and we can count also the balloons. So then then they work in pairs. Then first we demonstrate the balloon, and then we demonstrate the string, and then they work in pairs. One of the students take a balloon and take a deep breath and blow all the air into the balloon, and then they take a string and ask the partner to tie the string, and then they measure the balloons and write the results on the worksheet or maybe on the board, and then they compare the results using adjectives, maybe big or small. They can use and they can compare their results. We'll discuss this, the first part of it.
But still, I think that you can spend the whole lesson on the first page even. Yes. Well, everyone needs time to do this, to measure, to write, so takes a lot of time. And of course, they have small presents after the lesson. They have balloons, they can play with them. Yeah. Thank you. So let's stop here. So I believe that this session was quite interesting and helpful. Yeah. Now you will have less problems with these pages, with CLIL lessons. And next time we're going to discuss other books, Superminds 3, 4, and 5. So I would also recommend you to look through the books to maybe read these CLIL topics, yes, to get familiar with them. And we will discuss next time other interesting topics. So thank you everyone for coming and for active participation. This was great.
Thank you.
Thank you for your great work.
So that's it. Have a good day, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
So, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.